Let's talk about that new Xbox Series X console, Xbox Series X refresh as some people call it, because according to Windows Central, this new console is still on the cards for this year. So let's look into this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I would like to talk about Xbox Series X Slim, I guess, because that new console would have to be called really if the rumors are true and Microsoft is still planning to release this console, because I'm sure remember this console, it's called Brooklyn. I mean, that's a code name, of course. Xbox Series X refresh, the most powerful Xbox ever, now adorably all digital. Not sure if that's actually a great news really. And I mean, that would pretty much be the same console specs wise. I mean, yeah, it would have improved Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it would be more power efficient, as in electricity efficient, right? So it would reduce the power consumption, and that's pretty much it. However, it would come with some changes, obviously, to the actual design. It would look different. It would come with some extra ports like USB-C port at the front, but it wouldn't contain any optical drive, right? So if you've got any games on physical discs, physical media, well, you won't be able to play. You won't be able to use these on that particular console. However, I'm still not convinced if this console is actually coming, because yes, sure, Windows Central went with this story over here, and you will find the link in the description below. Yes, there were some, well, I guess news 2 or 3 days ago suggesting that that new controller with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity and Wi-Fi 4 connecting directly to the servers when you play games via cloud and that kind of stuff, right? So I mean, apparently that controller is actually in the works and it's actually coming this year, and so maybe that's why, you know, some people actually believe that Xbox Series X refresh is still on the cards, but I'm not so convinced, because for a number of reasons. Why? There's been a series of, I guess, comments from insiders late last year, suggesting that that particular console, that refresh, has been scrapped. At least like redesign of that console. Now, I would imagine that, for example, having a 6nm chip inside that console, old design console, actually makes more sense, really, because yeah, I mean, this console would be a downgrade for me, really. I mean, and even though I don't really play games, using physical media that much, I still do, right? I mean, for example, I've got a number of Xbox 360 backwards compatible titles still on discs. I've got a couple of Xbox One games still on discs, right? I've got Xbox Series console game, actually 2 games on discs too, like Metro Exodus and actually that's an Xbox One game, really, and GTA, the latest one, the trilogy, right, the Definite Edition, right? And I've got some 2 or 3 discs here and there, so I don't necessarily use them that much, but it's nice to have that option, right? Another thing is that I'm actually planning to kind of rebuild myself like a library of games from Xbox 360 that are still backwards compatible, and I can play them on Xbox Series X. So I think the strategy of having more powerful and playing everything Xbox Series X for $500 and then having a digital only Xbox Series S for $300 is a fine strategy. I don't have a problem with that because you've got a choice. But if Microsoft all of a sudden was to offer Xbox Series X without optical drive at all, no options there, and really looking at these slides, like they don't really talk about any options, right? Like they don't talk about like two different versions, right? So my fear is that, that would be just that, right? And that's not necessarily great for all gamers, right? Like everyone is different, and Microsoft has always been about the choice, and I like it. So don't take away the option of being able to play these games on your console, especially that, some may say, these games are cheap and whatever, right? But problem is that you cannot play some of these games. You cannot buy some of these games on Xbox Store anymore, right? I mean, there's a number of games that are backwards compatible, for example, but the only way to play these games right now is to buy a physical version of that game, not brand new one, obviously, because some of these titles are not available. But a second-hand version will work just fine. A good example of game like that is Fear, for example, right? I mean, this game, it's backwards compatible. It's great, but you cannot buy it on Xbox Store anymore for whatever reason. It's not available. I mean, it may have something to do with the licensing or whatever, right? But sure, some may say, you can still play it on Xbox One or whatever, right? But why should I own all of these consoles to play of these games if I've got an Xbox Series X which is backwards compatible? It enhances a lot of these games, and I'm happy with my Xbox Series X launch Xbox Series X right now, but what if it fails? I won't be able to buy a new one, really, because the only option I would have in such a scenario would be to grab an a digital only Xbox Series X, and and I get it. Moving forward, maybe I guess we have to get used to the fact that consoles will go digital only at some point for sure, but I'm not sure if making a console digital only right now, when Microsoft and PlayStation started this generation with consoles that do have optical drive, I don't think that's a good idea to all of a sudden just scrap the optical drive and that's it. Actually PlayStation actually did it quite good. I mean, meaning that there's options, right? Like you can buy our digital only PlayStation 5 at first, but you can still buy a attachable optical drive for this console, and then you can enjoy these games. And even if your optical drive will go bad, that happens sometimes, you can buy another one and still use it in your console, right, with your console. So listen, I'm not really sure if this particular console is a good idea. For all I care, they could just scrap it and just focus on the next gen Xbox in 2026, really, because let's face it, redesigning the console costs money, and all the testing and everything to comply with the regulations and that kind of stuff, that costs a lot of money. So I would rather them spend that money somewhere else, like working on a better Xbox console in the future. But whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. Like I said, there's conflicting informations out there. Some people say that this console will happen, while other people say they won't. You know what they say. time will tell, right? So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on that new console. Let me know what you think about it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.